Hey everyone, this is Max from Unsubscribed Healthcare, and I'm going to go over work through as well as adding the Google form to your site for your intake form. So this is what I do, is that I go to my Google Drive. This is just showing you an example using Google Sites. Google Sites does allow you to make your own websites. I've never used it for actually my professional websites or anything like that. I use Wix personally. What am I doing? We're going to forms. Okay, so we want to go to patient, subjective, and intake form. From here, we want to click on the view button. At the top here, you're going to select the URL and copy and paste. So we're going to copy it. We're going to go back to the website that we're building. And then you can do a couple of different things. You can click on an embed, and then you would put in the URL here, and you can see we click insert, and it inserts the form directly into your website. So that's one way of doing it. I personally don't do it that way because when people click on like the next button, it will become clear and they have to scroll back up, and like sometimes it doesn't work as well. So the way that I do it is I just, I'll add a button in, and then you add the link, and now you have the intake form. So when we view the website, if I come here, we can start filling out the form here. So you can see now that we press next, if it's on your website, patients will have to scroll up in order to see the next thing. That's why I like doing the intake button. So if we click on the intake form, you can see it carried over everything that we had just filled in. Go to next, and now we can type in their insurance information, name of referring provider, this goes into the HIPAA, so this is what your patients would see. Again, you can skip over any of these things that you don't want to by having them, instead of when they click next, it goes to the next section, you can make it go to whatever section you want them to go for. So if you don't want to do any of these informed consents or HIPAA or anything else, or you have your own, again, you would have replaced them already if you've been following along. Assignment of benefits, cancellation policy. We're not going to put anything here so that we'll have this SOAP note pulled forward. SOAP note is generally the one that I use. Again, you can put in your own templates into the templates folder that match these names, and it will pull those forward. We'll put him underneath my care. I don't know if he had alcohol dependency, but we'll just put a few down so that they get pulled forward. And again, at this point, any of these questions can be made to fit your needs and what you want it to say. Just remember that you would have to update it on all the templates as well if you update these questions. All right, so now that that's been submitted, we'll go back to our PT Elite. We'll go into the patients, PT 2025, Max Shippen, and then we will see George Washington appear. There it is. As it's appeared, we come in here, and now you'll see that the forms are starting to populate, and the pre-made template will start to populate as well. Cool. So there's the SOAP template. Here's a Google Doc of the George Washington signed copy of the intake form. And what it does is it makes the Google Doc, and then it saves that as a PDF, and then it deletes that. So we will see now that has turned into a PDF. Now we have these two signed copies of the Google Doc templates, because again, you can have it so that it brings forward all the information onto a Google Doc and document that way instead. So that's what these two are. This is a copy of his signed intake form as well, with signature addresses or signature spots, so you could then send this to them to their email and have them sign it. This is a thing that happens on Google Docs that you can do by adding in a signature space. And then if we wanted to just start documenting on the pre-made templates, we'd be able to do that here. To get started, I'm going to click Allow Access. Now you can see successfully connected in both of these spots. I'm going to click Add Trigger so that I'll get email notifications. I'll have to authorize the script. Now that it's authorized, it will have email notifications enabled, so it'll be able to remind me of the birthday or any of these other things that you've made for your email notifications. At this point, multi-select should also be set up so that I can use that. But otherwise, I can just come over to Outcome Measures, and we'll do the Berg. Okay, after that, we're going to go over to the eval. The date of service, we'll put it as today. Service location, I'm a mobile therapist, so I'm going to put it at the patient's residence. And we're going to say low back pain and ankle. I'm going to minimize the bottom two here, so that way it looks nice and clean. You can see William Chippen, low back pain and ankle sprain, so we can change that as well. I'm going to minimize this, and now I can start typing. So you can see if we need to wrap it around, we'll wrap it around so that we can see the full thing. So sometimes that doesn't get carried forward when copying. It should. So if it doesn't, you would just click on wrap, and now you can see it's wrapped around and it looks better. Coming down here, you can see all of the information was pulled forward, concurrent treatment, whatever his current functional limitations, medications. If we need to update that, we can update that here. And his goals are to return to walking and hiking. We're going to say that he has none. We can also add in shortcuts for the subject of shortcut right now. So if there was anything that we wanted to fill in here quickly, we'd be able to do that. So if we'll go down to patient goals real quick, turn to prior level of function, and we'll put in none. Now that we submitted those, we can make sure return to prior level of function is selected. And you can see none is now an option. The other thing that we want to do is that we want to make sure that we have the correct physical therapist here. We'll update shortcuts. And now you can see the physical therapist is updated, and we are ready to go. So I'm going to minimize this as well. Then I can delete that and minimize all these so that it looks nice. Getting into objective, you can see Berg balance score has been carried forward because we did it in the outcome measures. And here we can now do objective observations. I'm going to type this up and speed through it. Okay, so I'm not going to be concerned about the cervical or neck or anything else, so I'll use this minimize on the left here. Here we're going to go into the hip, knee, ankle, and lumbar spine, so we're going to do this. The left side, the hip, we'll say is within normal limits. The right side, we can then say is within functional limits for most of them, and then adjust the ones that we need to that are abnormal. So we can say that abduction was only about 10. Internal rotation, 5. And you can adjust it based off of whatever you need. Again, I'm going to not do any shoulder tests, so I'm going to minimize this. So I know that the minus bar will go up to 120, so it's going to get rid of all of the shoulder tests. So I'll press the minus. And that grouping has now been minimized, and now we just have the knee, hip, ankle, lumbar. So we're going to do those now. And again, this is something that I might add into the shortcuts so that I don't have to keep typing it each time. So now I can just click on the ones that I want. And I can minimize the shortcut menu. Again, going on to assessment. Again, here I'm just adding in more flow sheet shortcuts that I would do for him. And after that is all done, we can click Save as PDF. We can check on that PDF. And this is how it looks after it's saved. And it's ready to go. If I needed to, I could also email this to the patient. And then I click Send. Now what I can do from here is I can also do my bill data entry. So I'm going to scroll up to the patient's name, copy and paste the patient's name in there, as well as their ID, who was the treating therapist, the date of service was today, the amount billed was, we'll say $250. We did not send it to the insurance yet. Their copay was $40. And then we can enter CPT data as well. So if we come down here, we can see we did one TX. Well, first we did an eval, we'll say medium complexity. Now that's submitted, so that's in our records, and we're able to hold on to that. So we can go to the data center from here if we wanted to just double check. Go over to the billing. Okay, click on George Washington and the dates of service. You can see it's already updated there, down below. So say we did update and we did send the date, send it out to his insurance, we'd be able to put it in here, how much we received, 20, we'll say that we received that next day, and there you go. Then we would click update. Click OK. So now when we click clear, we can search on that date again for that date of service, and we'll pop back up. So we'll go to George Washington, go to his patient ID, click the date of service, and we click search. Now we can see it's updated. So yep, it's been updated. If we wanted to, we could come to the clearinghouse now, and we could work on getting a CMS printed out for him to send into the insurance. Again, when you go from a different screen ratio, I was working on my other monitor before, so you can see that the screen ratio got messed up, and so these buttons got moved. So It takes a second to put them back, but we can come here. We're going to click on George Washington. Click on that, and we're going to click search. Nothing is going to come up because he doesn't have anything, so this was from the previous person, so we're going to click clear. Now you can see it's all cleared. We'll go back, we'll search for George Washington. His stuff has started to come up, so we're going to start filling this in. I believe we gave him a group health plan. Filling out red, so here's red. We said low back pain and right ankle. Okay, so we can see fill out the forms on that. Total charges. Okay, select provider. There. Service. Residence. NPI is not there, so we're going to fill that in. There you go. So now you can see it's updated. And then we're going to put in those CPT codes that we put in. So we said moderate evaluation. We also said that we did therapeutic exercise, manual therapy, and electric stim. We're going to apply these to the same 4 codes. So today was the date of service. So we're going to make these all the same, so that way we're going to just put 1. Okay, so we can see all of that is done. No more red. I'm going to click on save. So now this will save his profile as this. Okay, and if I need to, I can save with no grid. Now I can click on this and print it out onto my pre-made template that I already have for the CMS form template, and it's ready to go. Or if I need to, I can also click on save with a grid, and now I can email this to the patient separately. You can see what that looks like. And that's how you would do an eval. It gets faster the more that you put in your shortcuts and the more that you use it. But that's how you do an eval with the billing and being able to do all that. So it's pretty quick, especially since it's, still being optimized and still getting great feedback from people on ways that I can improve it. So I'm always looking to do that. Let me know what you think. So when you go to do a treatment, you're going to again need to update the person providing the service, add in the date of service, the location, and then I'm going to minimize these and minimize this. Looking down, again, we went over this tab already, but you have the current measurements in gray and the eval measurements in blue. If I want to get rid of this, I could go down and manually minimize each of the eval groupings. If I didn't want to have all these, special tests and everything else here, what I could also do is that I could just right-click on the left side where the grouping tabs are, and then click collapse all groups, and now it becomes a SOAP note. So now from here, we can just write a regular SOAP note, and then we would be able to, again, save it and do everything else. You just want to make sure that you have all of your exercises available. So from here, I will write a SOAP note. Okay, and then from here, I would click Save as PDF. Actually, I wouldn't. I would click Copy and Name. And I would do RX1. So I would do Copy and Name. And I would do RX1. Now that it's been copied, it's an exact copy of the tab that we were just on, so I don't have to worry about like redoing anything. And then I would click Save as PDF. And what it's going to do is it's going to save as George Washington, RX1, and then the date. And that way I can go into George Washington's template and inside of his folder, and I can see all of his documents and PDFs that we've created. So RX1, we'd be able to click on it here and observe it. And then we can also see all the emailed PDFs that we had sent out to him. You can make a new folder for PDFs. You can place all of these in there. You know, you're just able to organize it however you want. And that's kind of how the workflow that I do typically for the treatments goes as well. Yeah, and then super bills, you can come right over here, make your super bill if you do it this way. You know, so I say we're doing it for his treatment that's on Friday that we did for just the treatment, not the eval, so we aren't going to have so we're not going to have the eval here. We're just going to have, we'll say neuro, manual, therapeutic exercise. These are our bills that we charge. And then we'll say that our prompt paid is $165. So we just put that there. And then we can save as a PDF here. We could also do copy and name in the Unsub menu. Superbill RX1. And now we can also come here and email PDF to patient. Make sure that their email is correct. RX1 and Superbill. And I click send, and now it's going to make them into PDFs and send them out. Since I still have George Washington here, I want to schedule out his next appointment. Since I have George Washington here, I'm going to schedule out his next appointment. And we're going to look at next week. Okay, does Tuesday at 11 work for you? Great. And then same place at your house? Okay. Save. And now you can see that's there, and we're all set and ready to go for next week. And that's how unsubscribed healthcare works. I hope this makes sense. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions. And I hope you have enjoyed this user guide, as well as I hope it's been easy enough to follow along with this user guide. I hope you enjoy the product. Please let me know if you have any questions below.